Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to a brand new live stream. I know I didn't really make the latest of video when it comes to the reports that came out when it came to offered trade packages by the Utah Jazz. So I was like, why not? Let's put it all in one video. Yes, I made a video on how the New York Knicks are actually interested in Donovan Mitchell and how they're trying to trade for him, and how the Knicks have 8 tradable first round draft picks. But at the end of the day, what's the value really going to be in the trade? Some people are saying the Jazz are asking for too much, and then there's some Knicks fans slash media people that are saying no, Donovan Mitchell's an all-star level plus player. They're not going to give him away for a bag of chips, especially if this team's starting to move in the rebuild direction. They're trying to get tons of draft picks. You look at the draft capital, obviously you got in the Rudy Gobert trade of 5 first-round draft picks, and you got some quality young role players. I really like Jared Vanderbilt. They obviously got an energetic guy back with Patrick Beverly and Malik Beasley to make sure the salaries match to really equal Rudy Gobert's contract. So I thought they did a pretty good job in that trade. So they're going to try to execute another good trade when it comes to the Donovan Mitchell deal, because you could say it's hard to win these star level trades or these star trades because you're trading away like one of the best players in basketball, and you want to make sure you get good assets for the future. But let me pull up the chat. I really appreciate you guys being here because I didn't edit it that the chat pops up on the screen, so I'm gonna have to read it off of my phone today. But yeah, guys, I really appreciate you guys tuning in. Yo, what's going on, Anthony? How you doing, man? I hope all is well. How good do you think Donovan Mitchell makes it to the Knicks? Like, what's the percentage? Like, what's my projected percentage that Donovan Mitchell can be a Knick? So obviously they need to come down to an agreement, and the New York Knicks have rejected a deal that we're going to be getting into, and I would have rejected the deal as well. But I would say there's a pretty high chance that the New York Knicks are capable of getting a Donovan Mitchell via trade. I know the Nets are interested. I know the Miami Heat are interested as well, but I believe we have the most draft capital and they're looking to rebuild. But I'll say we have like a 50-50 shot or even a little above that, but they need to come down to an agreement and they're still talking right now. What's going on, YB Jelly? What's going on, Chiefs Kingdom? I hope all is well. Danny Ainge, he's just trying to get a lot back, even though he is wildin'. He definitely is wildin' when it comes down to the type of value he's trying to get back from Donovan Mitchell. But at the end of the day, they're not going to trade him for a bag of chips. It's not like he's 30 years old. You could like his play style, you could not like his play style, but he's still only 25 years of age, and he's been one of their best players, you could say, since Gordon Hayward, and then we can go really back in the days. But he's been their best player for the past few years, and they got really good value out of him in the draft. They're just not going to give him away for nothing. What's going on, Michael? What seed do you think they would finish with? Donovan Mitchell. Oh, what seed? Like, all right. So obviously you have Jalen Brunson, you would have Donovan Mitchell. The New York Knicks said they're not giving up RJ Barrett. Like, he's completely off the table. If you did not know that, anyone that is new to that, RJ Barrett's completely off the table. So obviously, if we go on to get a Donovan Mitchell, we're gonna have to give RJ the max or a little below a max when it comes to what he potentially can be. So you'll have Jalen Brunson, you'll have Donovan Mitchell, you have RJ Barrett, you have Julius Randle, and you have Mitchell Robinson. And the key takeaway there when it comes to the negative is that that's a small lineup. You have two 6'1 guards. Donovan Mitchell already played with a 6'1 guard in Utah of Mike Conley, who's a good defensive player, but he is a it's just kind of a concern when it comes to certain mismatches because he's only a 6'1 guard. But Mitchell, the problem with him is that he looked like, I don't know if he was checked out because he didn't want to play in Utah, but we also saw it in the Clippers series the year before this playoff series that he just looks checked out defensively. Maybe because he's putting in so much work on the offense side of the basketball that he doesn't have enough energy for the defense side of the basketball. But in order for this lineup to work, because Brunson tries, but there's going to be certain mismatches that he's just not going to thrive defensively on a consistent basis. Again, he tries, but you have two 6'1 guys. You have Mitchell is a good athlete. Brunson's not really a great athlete, but he's a good quick first step. RJ's an average athlete. He's only 6'6". So RJ's gonna have to take a huge step defensively. Randall's gonna have to take a huge step defensively, go back to his effort of his second year with the New York Knicks when we made it to the playoffs. And Mitchell Robinson's gonna have to continue to be more disciplined. But if that lineup together, I could see maybe like a fifth, sixth seed. We'll have to wait and see though. Like you could see a team on paper and you're like, oh, that looks like a good team, but it comes down to the chemistry and how they mesh. Can it really work together, you know? But and you have to keep in mind the bench isn't going to be as good if you really think about the depth won't be there. We obviously Noel's not here anymore, Burks isn't here anymore. We would have to include like Derrick Rose in that trade quickly, or Obi, one of those guys might be gone. They're very interested in Quentin Grimes as well, if you guys did not hear. Like Quentin Grimes is one of their top young guys that they want because they're trying to get these cheaper types of contracts to give them flexibility of building a team. But what's going on, Pudge? How you doing, man? All right, let's see what we got. Hell no, why are we talking about Randall like he was not All NBA 2 seasons ago? I didn't say he wasn't All NBA 2 seasons ago. And I was talking about Gordon Hayward. I don't know if you heard me, but I was talking about how the Jazz are valuing Donovan Mitchell very high. He's like obviously the best player they've had in their organization since Gordon Hayward. I don't know what you're talking about with Gordon Hayward there. Um, I wouldn't be surprised if it doesn't go down. They're asking for a lot, and they're not going to just trade him away for nothing. That's definitely the negative, Jeremy, that you trade away your young players, you trade away your draft capital. Obviously, you can't, when it comes to your own picks, you can't trade first rounders consecutive years in a row. So we would technically still have draft capital, but we would be trying to trade those picks we acquired from the Wizards and like all that on draft night, but those are heavily protected picks. So yeah, that's a concern. It's like how good will this team really be? Yes, they're gonna be fun to watch. They're gonna be improved, but did you give up your entire future to not compete for a championship? But I don't know, maybe you take a risk like something like this, but you hold on to RJ Barrett no matter what because maybe it'll be a surprise. The Knicks may be better than we think, even with the Donovan Mitchell if RJ takes that jump. Like this ceiling really depends on RJ Barrett's growth and development. We'll put Randall's third option if we get Mitchell. Probably depends how. So so what are your options then? Is Brunson? So is RJ not in there then? So you have Brunson, Mitchell, and then Randall, and then you have RJ as your fourth option. I'm just assuming. What about you? I'm not saying that, but is that what you're thinking? Okay, Brendan, I got you. Maybe the Knicks will be like the Phoenix Suns when they got Chris Paul. I I don't think we have someone with special vision out there on the floor, and I think that team is constructed better than this team if this goes on to happen. But you never know, you never know. But I don't think we're going to the NBA Finals. But obviously, it would be freaking awesome. Let's see. When's the deal getting done? I have no idea. I'm not an insider. I wish I could tell you, man. But so let's get into this trade offer that right here. So there was a trade offer that happened like a little bit ago. Maybe it was like yesterday or like early this morning. That says earlier in Donovan Mitchell negotiations, Utah asked the Knicks about a deal that included Mitchell Robinson. So this deal will only work on January 13th because you can't trade Mitchell Robinson until January 13th if you did not know because we just signed him. RJ Barrett, other players, and at least 3 first round picks. Talks are fluid with the Jazz prioritizing draft picks in return. I think the draft picks are definitely, it's going to come down to those because the only way we give up a less amount of picks than they're asking for is if we include an RJ, and I personally wouldn't do that at all. And this is via Ian Begley, obviously a very reliable source, New York Knicks insider, but yeah, they did ask that at one point, but I don't know about you guys. I would not do that. We wouldn't be able to do that until much later anyway. And they're trying to get the most when it comes to these picks. Like I mentioned, the Rudy Gobert trade, they were able to get 5 first round picks. I thought they did a good job in that deal. On paper, yeah, maybe that Timberwolves squad looks good, but are they really going to get, like, they could still not get out of the first round. That's how crazy that trade is. Yeah, they gave up 5 first round picks, one resulting in Walker Kessler, Jared Vanderbilt, solid pieces like Patrick Beverly, those energetic, nice depth piece, but we see Rudy Gobert, how much he's a weakness offensively in the playoffs. We know he's a good interior defender, but Carlton Towns is stretch four. Obviously, you're depending on Anthony Edwards to be like a superstar or just really surpass even an all-star type of status because I think Edwards could be very good. But it says the Utah Jazz are looking to acquire a majority of New York's 8 first-round picks per Andy Blorson, who's an insider of the Utah Jazz. Utah's also looking to acquire pick swaps in a combination of Quentin Grimes, Emmanuel Quickly, Obi Toppin, Miles McBride, and Cam Reddish. So that's another thing. Yes, it's Donovan Mitchell. Donovan Mitchell, insane player. I think he's an all-star. I do not think he's a superstar. So is it worth the risk of really destroying your depth. Because, gosh, the depth would be ugly as shit to get a star level talent, and we may not even get past the. We'll have to see how the seeding unfolds. May not even get past like the second round. Do you take that risk, or it's a wait and see thing? You figure it out later. I want to see what you guys are saying in the chat. Again, I appreciate you guys being here. I really do. Um, Yo, my man Isaiah in the chat. What's going on, Isaiah? He says they can keep Mitchell. Yeah, my man Isaiah, he does not want Donovan Mitchell. He does not. I understand both sides, that people that want Donovan Mitchell and people that don't. Because some people may say, oh, this is the old New York Knicks. They're gutting their roster to get a star level player, and then, yeah, we'll improve maybe one round, but we're not competing for a championship, and then we're going to be bad the next 5+ years. Yo, what's going on, Falcon? How you doing, man? He says you're doing great, my guy. You're good. I really appreciate you being here, dude. How many likes we got? I think we barely got any likes. Yo, if you haven't already, smash that like button. I really appreciate you guys being here. Helps out the algorithm. Smash the like button if you haven't already. Thank you, guys. He is asking too much. Yeah, we're going to be getting into the offer the Knicks declined as well. I'm going to be putting on the screen. But this is the thing. Like, this is how trades work. They're going to start high. They really are. So, obviously, Leon Rose is trying to give up as least as possible. But it's Donovan Mitchell at the end of the day, a star level player. Even though. So, there's the downside when it comes to Donovan Mitchell, the defense. I don't think the defense is great. There's no effort there. When there's not much effort there, you're not going to be a great defensive player. But when he is locked in, he has the capability of being a good defender because he's strong. Yes, he's only 6'1", but he's a 6'10" wingspan. He does like the ball in his hands, but did he play hero ball because he didn't have a lot of offensive firepower around him? Maybe he doesn't always make the highest of basketball IQ plays. You know, he put up points, but he was on very bad efficiency. Should have trusted his teammates more, but it's like, do you trust the teammates on that Jazz team offensively? And maybe he gave up on the Jazz in the playoffs. Do you want that guy on your team? A guy that gave up defensively. I'm not saying gave up defensively. Well, I technically said it, but that's what some people are assuming. I appreciate that, Isaiah. Yeah, we can't trade Mitch until January anyway. January 13th. And I know Knicks fans, if we did trade for Mitchell and we had to wait till January, I know some Knicks fans would be like, just freaking get it over with. Um, yeah, you can't say that. Minnesota giving him. Yeah, I don't think Gobert is worth that many picks. Gobert is a good player, but that many picks is freaking insane in my opinion. No, it's just too much for a top 20. I need a top 12 or 15. I get you, man. All right, so let me know in the chat. Do you guys think Donovan Mitchell is a superstar? So I don't throw around the term superstar like crazy, really. I think there's a rare amount of like superstars in the league, like Curry, LeBron, Giannis, Kevin Durant. Like I don't throw around that term like crazy. Like superstars are number one options that can help their team win a championship. But I feel like every player needs the right pieces around him. So I would want to see what Mitchell does look like on this roster. But as of right now, I look at him as a two. White Falcon says yes, he's a superstar. Yo, what's going on, Harlem girl? How you doing? I appreciate you tuning in. I appreciate you. Automatic Hall of Famer. No Pudge says. I agree with you, Jeremy. I feel like if you have Donovan Mitchell on the Knicks and you already have Brunson, that's like top five in the East. I agree, but how far do you think that is in the playoffs? Because length, athleticism, effort takes you far in the playoffs. That concerns me again with like the depth. Like we can't. This is why we gotta. I'm not saying Cam Reddish is good because Cam Reddish is not proven to be good, and it's not completely his fault. He hasn't been able to stay healthy in his career. But maybe Cam Reddish is being overrated when it comes to his potential. But that's why you got to see what you have out of him because we need consistent athletic players on this roster, especially if we trade away Obi. Like we need defensive lockdown players for the playoffs and athletic players. On the Knicks, where would he be the best player? Yup. he could develop into a superstar. Since, yeah, I'll say this though. Donovan Mitchell, I don't know if his points are going to get higher. He's already had years. He's averaged 25, 26 points per game. That's freaking insane. Like, he's a true bucket getter, difficult shot maker, gets to the bucket at ease. Like, he has a deep bag of moves, which we need. We really do need a bucket getter, someone that's not afraid. He's from New York. I don't know if his stats will ever get better, but this is what needs to get better is basketball IQ, knowing what's the right shots to take. But he's a fearless player. That's what he is. He takes risks out there on the court for sure. But I want to get into the offer the Knicks declined. This came out this morning, I believe. So it says the New York Knicks are hot after Donovan Mitchell, but they have to be careful not to end up bidding against themselves in trade talks with the Utah Jazz. We know Danny Ainge has a history of asking for and often getting the world. And indeed, Ainge recently asked the Knicks for a king's ransom in exchange for Mitchell. According to Tony Jones of The Athletic, Utah offered Mitchell to New York for 6 first-round draft picks, plus Quentin Grimes, Emmanuel Quickley, Obi Toppin, and Miles McBride. But the Knicks backed away from that proposal. New York was smart to do that. Utah wants picks and rookie scale players over win now mode players, which I understand because they'll be in a rebuild. One player in line for a big payday, such as RJ Barrett, so it can go into tank mode and create financial flexibility through a rebuild. And there isn't another realistic Mitchell suitor that can offer the 6 picks Utah asked for. New York can offer up to 8, but again, it only needs to dangle as many picks as is required to outbid the next closest team, which would probably be like Miami or Brooklyn. Miami, for instance, can only offer 2 future picks, 3 if it drops the protections on the 2025 pick. It owes OKC or gets creative with the next allowage language in accordance with the Stephen rule, which dictates that a team can't go consecutive seasons without a first round pick. So yeah, if we do trade picks, which would freaking suck obviously, but you need to do that for Donovan Mitchell, you can't trade them in back-to-back years, so we technically still have picks, just not as many. And we know Leon really values his second round picks. So we actually draft pretty well in the second round, which is the funny thing. But we have 80 people watching, and we only have 19 likes. We could do better than that. I really appreciate you guys being here. Smash that like button. Smash that like button. Road to 4K subscribers. You would do that? All right, would you guys do this trade? So the Knicks rejected this trade. The Knicks rejected this, if you didn't know. Utah offered Mitchell to New York for 6 future first-round picks, Quinn Grimes, Emmanuel Quickley, Obi Toppin, and McBride. Would you guys do that? Tommy Jackson says, please let RJ walk. Not an RJ fan. Rose going to do the deal for Tom's sakes. Tom's going to... That's way too much. Hell no. I feel like you only give up a certain amount. If the Knicks are confident, I'm not saying they would be able to. I feel like you only give up so much damn draft capital and young players if you believe you're getting a player. Because this is the positive, though. Donovan Mitchell is under contract until 2025, and he's 25 years of age. So if you're confident that RJ can make that huge jump throughout those years, Randall can become smarter as a player, Brunson plays like an all-star level player, then you have Mitchell who continues to excel with his basketball IQ gets better, becomes smarter. If you really believe you can compete for a championship, not win a championship, or you really think that's in the conversation, that's when you do it. You don't just do this for a first round exit, second round exit. Like, you do this if you really think you can compete. I'm not saying we win a championship with Mitchell or be in contention with them, but I know you got to take a risk, but we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. But this is an all-star level player at the end of the day. Yep, Mitchell does want to be here. I did hear that from Woj, that Donovan Mitchell, he's trying to get himself to New York. He's from New York. He's a Mets fan. Got Mets fans or Mets players, or a player tweeted at him, like, when you coming to New York? Chris says only a crackhead does that. If we could replace Quick and Obi for the Frenchman and Rose, then yes. So this is the thing. If we're trading picks, especially if it's the upcoming draft, we'll have to obviously replace those guys throughout free agency because we wouldn't have the draft capital. I know we would be able to have, all right, let's say we trade the 2023 first round pick, we wouldn't be able to replace them throughout that draft, but we'd be able to trade them or replace them throughout the 2024 draft, 2026. You know what I'm saying? Because you can't trade back to back first round picks. So, but you'd probably have to go through free agency, especially if you're a win now mode team. That's probably what you would have to do, go through free agency and replace them. But I think that's harder than people think, honestly, because Obi's a unique player. I feel like he hasn't gotten a fair shake in New York. I'm not saying some future Hall of Famer, but he can leak out. He's athletic. He brings a lot to the table. I don't think we've fully seen yet. Stephen A. Smith's a clown. He's an entertainer. He's an entertainer. But I don't even think he's a true Knicks fan the way he talks. Yep, that would be the lineup if we got Mitchell. On paper, it looks good, but it comes down to the fit with the size. How will it be defensively? A lot more goes into it than that. But I understand what you're saying. From a talent standpoint, it looks damn good. See, I don't, if we trade for Mitchell, I'm not, sorry to tell you, I don't think Obi and Quick and RJ will all be here. I think it's possible we keep RJ, but Obi and Quick, it's possible both those guys are gone or at least one of them. Trade Julius, keep Obi. Well, I don't think that's gonna happen because what I've seen, like Ian Begley said, that Jazz aren't interested in Randall. They're not trying to get win now mode players. The Utah Jazz and the Knicks, if they trade for Mitchell, they're trying to win now. So I'm sorry to tell you, we're keeping Randall staying. We're trying to win now with Randall, Brunson, RJ, Mitchell. Locks of Judah says, I appreciate being here. I really do. Thank you so much for being here. Shout out to all you guys. You guys are amazing. I hope you guys are staying safe out there. Yeah, they aren't interested in Julius. I wouldn't be interested in Julius either if I'm trying to rebuild. They're probably in the Victor Wembanyama sweepstakes, honestly. That 7'3" dude from France. He could shoot, he could pass, he could rebound, he could do all that. Let's see. But Locks of Judah says, I do 6 picks with Grimes, McBride, Rose, and Evans. Evans? Why am I tripping? Who the hell was Evans? Oh, Evan Fournier, you meant? I was confused with the Evans. I thought Tyreek Evans came back. Um, yeah, obviously they're going to be meeting in the middle. I don't think if we do go on to trade for Mitchell, I don't think, hopefully not. It's not going to be like 7 first round picks or 6 first round picks. They're going to, if they do trade, this is the way trades work. They're going to start at the very top, but they're not getting that much. Hopefully not. Hopefully Leon doesn't fall for it. They're going to be meeting in the middle, hopefully. What's going on, JT? How you doing, man? JT Reddick, welcome to the chat. Hope all is well. I just hate Julius Randle's effort the last few games. Well, hopefully it changes. I don't know what's going on outside of basketball, but yeah, you saw on the court. No excuses, though. It just looked like he didn't give a shit, and there was an inconsistency of his effort. You would see one game, he's showing tons of effort, and then another game, looks like he doesn't care. He's ruining the momentum of games, getting into it with other players. He's mentally weak out there on the floor. What's going on, Reggie? How you doing, man? I guess the Knicks trade IQ, Reddish, Grimes, McBride, Fournier, and 6 first. I could see that. They really like Grimes. IQ is a young player. McBride, Fournier, help the salaries match. And I could see that. That's pretty real, in my opinion. I could see that happening because they're trying to get like these expiring contracts or these guys on rookie contracts that give them flexibility. Yeah, I really appreciate you guys being here. Thank you. The chat's on fire because of y'all. Excited as hell to see what having a real point guard Brunson's going to do for RJ, Mitch, and especially Randall. Me too, Brandon. Hopefully he puts them in the position to be successful because it's going to be an adjustment period. Because the Mavs had a lot of versatility with their size and their ability to stretch the floor with guys like Kleba, with the guy like Finney Smith, Bertans. They had these stretch types of bigs, and the spacing was a lot better in Dallas. We'll see what goes on to happen in New York, but me too, man. I think trade quick, Grimes, McBride, Rose, and Fournier with 7 first rounders. Let me think. Maybe that could work. 7 first round. Would you got? I want to know your true thoughts because you have to keep in mind they're not giving up Donovan Mitchell for a bag of chips. They're not. Is 7 first round picks too much for Donovan Mitchell, or you're like, let's be real here. It's freaking Donovan Mitchell. Like you do it. But I understand both sides. People that want to do it, and there's no wrong answer. There's no wrong answer in my opinion. There's no wrong answer. Let's see. Obi should stay. He's definitely going to be in conversations in the trade, though. I wouldn't bank on him staying. But I hope he stays. It'll be freaking awesome. We have 37 likes. Let's see if we can get at least 50 likes. Can we get 50 likes in the chat? Can we get 50? I want to keep Derrick Rose if we trade for Donovan Mitchell. If we're trying to compete and we get Donovan Mitchell, Derrick Rose is a piece I would definitely try to hold on to for win now mode purposes because he helps out our bench depth of just scoring the basketball. But am I the only one that's just concerned when we trade an OP, trade an IQ, that the bench is just going to be, if we trade one of those guys, then we're going to have to trade Grimes as well. Hate to say it, Grimes will probably have to be gone. The Jazz that's one of their top priorities to get Grimes, a young player like that. That's recipe for success, 3-and-D, and probably brings more to the table with some slashing ability we've seen in Summer League at times, and he's been kind of playing in a box. Like, a lack of athleticism on this team off the bench. Like, you still need a good-ass bench to win, like the big thing in the NBA, or go far. And you need size. Yeah, RJ's off the table. If anyone did not know, RJ is off the table. The Knicks are not trading RJ Barrett. So if it comes down to the last day that they're like, all right, it's the last day we're negotiating with you guys, and if we can't land on a deal, then yeah, we're done. If it comes down to RJ, Nick's probably going to say no. I'd rather trade Obi over Quickly or McBride. I would trade McBride first. I'm not that high on McBride. I don't think he's really going to be much when it comes to at least starting point guard position. If you can't consistently create separation when you're 6'1", I think you're going to have troubles at the next level. He could be a nice energy guy defensively, but offensively, I don't trust his game. He has to be able to create separation more off the bounce on a consistent basis at least. Carmelo, I wouldn't sleep on that. That could be a potential signing. I think they will budge eventually. They don't want to keep him now, especially after the negotiations have begun. Yeah, at some point it's going to lower and be in the middle. I appreciate being here, Dominic. I hope you're doing well. Hope all you guys are doing well. Stay safe. The world's crazy, especially around this time. 7 first-round picks. Cocaine is a hell of a drug. Yeah, I think it comes down to the value they get in the young players. Let's say we don't give up. All right, let's say we don't give up Obi, but we give up Quickly, Grimes, and McBride. In that situation, you'll probably have to give up like 6 first-round picks. And I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this. The Knicks aren't doing this. But if you throw an RJ in there, you throw like a McBride in there, and some other piece, maybe like a Cam Red or something like that, the picks will lower because you're getting kind of more of a proven type of talent and RJ Barrett. So, comes down to also the players they get back. Oh, we got a Jazz fan in the chat. What's going on, Todd? How you doing, man? I appreciate you tuning in. What's your thoughts on this whole situation? Obviously, Donovan Mitchell, very good player, all-star. Wouldn't say superstar. He's been probably your best player since Gordon Hayward. Thinking at the top of my head, you guys traded Rudy Gobert. I thought you guys did very good in that trade, but we'll see what happens. See what you guys get back if the trade happens. I'm not saying the trade's going to happen. I think some people were like, it's guaranteed. I think it's 50-50, or it's like 50-60%. I'm not going to go up to like the 80%. I'm kind of like BSing with that percentage. But what's your thoughts on the whole state of the Utah Jazz right now? It's a lot, but I'd rather have Quick and Obi stay. Breaking news. Whoa, that's real? That's not. You're such a troll, bro. Ice Mike, you trolling. I don't see that anywhere. I'm about to search this up right now. I'm about to search this up. You a liar, bro. Why you trolling, bro? So my man Ice Mike trolling. So Ice Mike said breaking news. I just checked, by the way. Breaking news, Miami Heat now considered frontrunners for Spider Mitchell after negotiations with the Knicks break down, according to Wood. I just looked it up, though. We'll see what happens. I know Mitchell wants to be a Knick, but at the end of the day, Leon Rose has to make it happen. Yeah, he's like, you laughing. They're asking for way too much, I'll pass. I'm not going to get mad at you. I'm in the spot right now. If we trade for Mitchell, okay, I'll rock with it. I'm not going to say I fully love it. I like it. I'm in the middle. Because I don't think Mitchell's a perfect player. I don't think he's a superstar. I don't think we'll improve as much as other people think. well, obviously we'll improve compared to last year. But when it comes to that year we made it to the playoffs, like maybe we'll get to second round at most. But you never know what the situation Mitchell's in. Maybe he likes it more than Utah and they mesh more. But yeah, I'm cool with it if we trade for him. If we don't, oh well. We're Knicks fans. We'll get over it. Yeah, Brennan, he's trolling. It's all good. I don't mind trolls as long as they're the cool types of chills. Yo, we're 5 likes away from 50 likes when we get there. Cooking with Chef says stop trolling. He said just trolling, bro. Yeah, I don't have a problem with trolling as long as it's not like freaking inappropriate and shit. I feel like it's gonna be something like 6 first rounders. Me too. I honestly think it's gonna be like 5, 6 first rounders if it goes down. 2 young bench players and a two-way contract guy. Well, yeah, most of our young players, when you really think about it, besides RJ, are on the bench. So I think Obi quickly possibly they'll be gone, and I'll say Reddish is probably gonna be gone as well. I just don't see the value with. I see value in Reddish's talent, but I don't see Reddish's value with the New York Knicks. Tibbs didn't want him. Is Donovan Mitchell the next Dwayne Wade? No, I'm not comparing him to Dwayne Wade. Dope. He's not Dwayne Wade. He's talented as hell, but Dwayne Wade's one of the best shooting guards ever. I wish we got DeJounte. I wasn't that high on DeJounte. I thought DeJounte was very talented, or is very talented. But for this team, I wasn't a big time fan of it, personally. What's going on, Tech? How you doing, bro? I'm right there with you, King Jaw. I wouldn't panic if we don't get Donovan Mitchell. But then on the other side, it's like, can we trust the Knicks developing these damn guys? Like, hopefully Tibbs is gone and then Johnny Bryant takes over. That's what the Knicks should do. If we strike out on Donovan Mitchell or we don't get Donovan Mitchell, the Knicks are, you don't really see much progression from the young guys. They're not put in the position to be successful. You fire Tibbs' ass, you hire Johnny Bryant or Dice Yashimoto, whoever you're into. Low-key, Dice Yashimoto might be taking Johnny Bryant's spot the way they looking in the summer league. No, I just think they got more experience. Yeah, Danny Ainge's very interested in Grimes. I talked about that. Like, I don't blame him though. Like, Grimes knows his role. He's on a rookie contract. Recipe of success for today's NBA. I like Grimes. I'm right there with you, Evan. I think Donovan's a damn good player, but I do think he's overrated. If we get Donovan Mitchell, it's full win now mode. It definitely is. If we don't get him, hopefully it's the concentration on the young guys. Because Jalen Brunson, a lot of people think we got Jalen Brunson on this high contract. That means we're in win now mode. But I honestly think Leon Rose's father think there's more there. That's why they gave him this contract. Because isn't he only 25 years of age as well? So they might think there's more there for him to develop and grow with an RJ and continue to get better or something. Dice Yashimoto, yes sir. What's going on, BTS Dance Studio? I hope all is well. Hope you're doing well, man. Smash that like button, yes sir. 53 likes. Yo, we got 151 people in the chat. I really appreciate you guys. That's unbelievable. I really appreciate you guys tuning in. I'm so close to 4K subscribers. Like, I need to get to 4K subscribers before I go to college. I got my orientation in a few months. Thank you, Chris. Ty says we need Tibbs. We're going to make another mistake like we did with Fizdale. Before Tibbs got here, we were averaging 20 wins a year. He comes and we win 40 games. All right, so this thing with Tibbs. I think Tibbs is a good coach, but I always describe him as the worst best coach ever because he's very unorthodox. There's never an agreement at the top with the organization. We saw it in Minnesota. He took over the Minnesota team. They go to the playoffs. They don't the next year. The thing with Tibbs is he's going to play the young guys eventually. There's a difference of playing the young guys and putting them in the position to be successful. He eventually did play the young guys, but he is such a vanilla offense. There's not that much movement. What he does on the offense side of the basketball, the constant same motions of the playbook, it's just so outdated. That's the problem with Tom Thibodeau. At some point, we got to build a long, consistent winner. But I'll wait and see. Let's say we don't get Mitchell, right? There's no more Burks. There's no more Noel. We may see more of the young guys, you know? Randall's still going to be here, but I'll wait and see if we don't get Mitchell and see how it unfolds. But Tom Thibodeau is not perfect. He's a good coach, but if we're trying to develop young talent and build it the right way, I don't think he's the coach here. But for a win, especially if we get Donovan Mitchell, though, yeah, I want Tibbs here because he's a win now mode coach. That's just my opinion. Um, and yeah, we won 37 games, but what did we really take away from that year? What did we really take away from last year? There's certain excuses you can make with them, like the Randall situation. You gave him the contract, so you can't really start Obi, despite him playing bad. But we didn't take. I don't think we took away a lot from last year. Like yeah, Quentin Grimes and Obi, or Manuel Quickly and Obi had a few nice games at the end. But it took him forever to see what he had with the youth when the season was over. But he's a good coach. He's just very unorthodox, and I don't think he's the coach for this team. I'm nothing against Tibbs. I respect what he did. So you don't think Donovan Mitchell's a win now mode move? I think it is. When you have Donovan Mitchell, he's one of the best players in the game. He was competing with the Jazz. Well, didn't get to the Western Conference Finals. You're trying to win. It's freaking it's Donovan Mitchell. Uh, and we have Tom Thibodeau here, so we're definitely in win now mode. Donovan Mitchell. So you Donovan Mitchell, Randall still here. If we weren't win now mode, we would be trying to just move on from Randall for anything, like literally anything. Let's see. Give me Donovan Mitchell and Malik Beasley for your crazy 6 first-round picks. And Grimes, McBride, Evan Cam, Rose, no Quickly or Obi. I don't think they could. They just got Beasley though, so can they trade him right away? I don't know if they could trade him right away. It's actually a good question. I know we can't trade Mitch because we just signed him. We have to wait till January. Hell yeah, it's a win now mode. We have no picks to win later. Like I mentioned though, I'm not trying to defend them here though. If we trade a bunch of picks, let's say we trade 6 first rounders, like we're gonna have to trade our own and the picks we got from Detroit, the Wizards, even though those are heavily protected. You can't trade first round picks in back to back years, so maybe we could still find value. Like, yeah, we may not have a pick this upcoming draft, but we'll have a pick after that. And we find pretty good value in the second round, though. I got to give credit to our scouting department when it's come to Leon Rose taking over, and we've had Walt Perrin here because we had Obi Toppin. I think he has talent. He hasn't been in the position to be successful. Hasn't gotten a fair shake. But Emmanuel Quickly, pretty damn good for the 25th overall pick. And then after that, we did a lot of maneuvering of trading back. Got Quinn Grimes, who's going to be valuable. If he plays or he's traded, he's valuable at a big-time move. Then we got McBride. McBride, I think he could be a nice spark plug defensively. Don't see it offensively. Jericho Sims, great pick for 58. Trevor Keels, I'm not that high on, I'm not going to lie. Even though he's 18 years old, I don't see his skill set being anything special. But for the later rounds, we've done pretty good job drafting. They're not stars, but they're still very quality. So what players would you draft, Nick? I appreciate you being here. Grimes is looking good in the summer league. You're seeing more creation. And what I've liked out of Grimes and Sims, they're not afraid to like play outside their box. Or maybe this like I'm actually you could say they've kind of been in a box with Tom Thibodeau, kind of restricting their play styles. But Sims, you see him not afraid, even though he missed it, take a mid-range jumper, put the ball on the floor, spin his way to the basket. Like I like that Sims isn't afraid to make mistakes. Like I like Sims. I think the Knicks may believe in him to be like the center of the future one day, in my opinion. 4 unprotected picks. That's the dream, but it depends on the players. Because I feel like we're only going to be able to give up. I think we're going to have to give up 5 or 6, like the Rudy Gobert trade. But the only way I think we give up like 3 or 4 unprotected picks is if RJ's in the deal and we're not giving up RJ because they're going to be like, there's a lot of value in this player, so we don't need as many picks. What teams do you want the Knicks to beat next season? Nets. We haven't beaten the Nets since. Yeah, we haven't beaten them since they got KD and Kyrie. Or that first year when they had KD, he was hurt, so maybe we beat them. But this past season, we didn't beat them. We blew that giant lead. Cam Thomas took over. It was freaking embarrassing. And then the year before that, we didn't win against them either. So I want to beat the damn Nets. I was happy last year or this last season when we beat Philly though, because we before that we haven't beaten Philly since like 2016 or 17. Like it was a long ass time. Or I want to beat the Nuggets. I feel like we never beat them, or at least on the road we never beat Denver. So Nets Denver. When I'm thinking about it at the top of my head, Boston's always great, obviously, but we beat them. Yup, what are the chances? I said Nuggets when you type Nuggets. What about Knicks beat Nuggets next season? Knicks have not won. Yeah, we haven't beaten them at the Pepsi Center. I believe there still is Pepsi Center since we traded Melo. It's something crazy like that. So we haven't beaten them since 2017. So I wouldn't be surprised if we haven't beaten them since we traded Melo on the road. Breaking news: Noah Cahill, aka Clutch Ball TV, Adrian Wojciechowski. Wait, let me check, make sure there's nothing going on Twitter. Okay, there's nothing going on. But he says, breaking news: Noah Cahill, aka Clutch Ball TV, is the new focus for the Knicks. They are now focusing on. They are not focusing on Spider anymore because they feel Clutch has more value. What's going on, Adrian? They didn't even spell it right. Wojciechowski. I guess that's the joke. Uh, Yo, what's going on, Danny? I hope you're doing well. No, thank you guys for supporting the channel. I really appreciate it. So it's like really hard when I was like, should I make a Donovan Mitchell video? Because I was like, I should put it all in one video or one live stream. Because I'm like, if I make a video, it's just like, I don't know. Something about making like similar videos in a row is kind of like weird. I don't know. So I was like, I'm just going to talk about it all in the live stream with you guys. Since the Knicks beat the Suns, it's been a while. Let me see. I think we had Porzingis the last time we beat them. When's the last? Or I'll ask StatMuse because StatMuse always knows. I feel like StatMuse always knows. When's the last time the Knicks beat the Suns? Remember when J.R. Smith hit that game-winning buzzer beater against the Jazz? 2018? The New York Knicks dominated the Suns 107-85 on January 26, 2018. And they got a picture of freaking Courtney Lee, an animated Court. But I remember, fun fact, I believe I'm right on this fact. Probably not, because I don't really know much. I think before RJ Barrett hit that game-winning buzzer beater against the Celtics, the last time we hit a game-winning buzzer beater was like 2011 or 2012, and it was J.R. Smith. Was it against the Hornets or the Suns? I'm trying to remember top of my head, but it was like, it's been a while since we hit not just a game winner, a game-winning buzzer beater. I was like, the Knicks never get lucky when it comes to this shit. So I was surprised when RJ hit that because I was like, RJ was playing like shit that whole Celtics game, and we haven't hit one in a while. Against the Suns, okay, and I think it was in the corner. J.R. Smith was like definitely polarizing. I liked him, and then there was moments I'm like, I do not like you right now. I hope so, Torn. I hope so. 2013 against the Suns. Okay, that sounds right. That sounds right. 2013 season was a good season. I personally want Isaac Bonga over Don. The funny thing is, I think Isaac Bonga was in the 2018 NBA draft, and I was pretty high on him. But he hasn't turned out to be anything. I remember he was like on the Lakers Summer League team, the Wizards. He hasn't really turned out to be anything. Yeah, I want to beat the Lakers too, I'm not going to lie. It'd be nice to beat the Lakers, beat LeBron. Remember when Mario Hezonja blocked LeBron James? That was something. Yo, we have 66 likes. We have 171 people in the chat. You guys are absolutely amazing. Thank you so much for tuning in. Can we get to, I don't want to be greedy here. Can we get to just 80 likes? I'll be pleased with 80 likes. Not asking for 100, just 80. I really appreciate y'all being here. Jeremy Lin, yup, top of the key three against the Raptors. That was big time. I definitely see the Knicks top four in the East with Mitchell. Let me keep reading. If they won 15 more games this year, they would be tied for second. I think Mitchell and Brunson added to that team last year definitely gets 14 more wins. I'm with you. I think we'll win. Yeah, we would definitely have more than 37 wins. I could see that personally. It just comes down to how they gel. Like, some people are like, I don't care what we give up, whatever we trade, like, it's just a wait and see game. Like, yup, we might have just traded these young players, some of our future and draft picks, but Mitchell, some people think he's just so much of a stud that's just like wait and see, you know? Sometimes you gotta take a risk like that. Like, no trade is perfect. There's always a little hesitation, probably, from every front office when they make a trade. Who do you think the sleeper team is in the East? All right, so the Nets probably not going to be in the playoffs. I'll be surprised. Funny thing is, though, if they had KD back playing and, like, no one wants him or they can't get a deal done with him, he'd be going back to a nice squad. Like, they got Royce O'Neal, Joe Harris going to be back healthy. But I'm trying to think of sleeper team. I don't think the Hornets are a sleeper team. I still don't really believe in them. They're talented, but I don't trust them defensively. I know they brought back Steve Clifford. That's more of a disciplined type of coach. I don't think there's really a sleeper team when I'm thinking about it. I don't think the Raptors are. They made the playoffs. Let's see, sleeper team. I don't think the Cavs are. A lot of people know they're up and coming. I don't personally think there's a sleeper. Maybe if that DeAndre, oh my, let's talk about that a little bit. Maybe if the DeAndre Ayton thing went through, but the Suns matched it, what a mess of a situation that is. Do you guys think Ayton's better than the way he's playing on the Suns? Do you think there's more to his game, or you think he's in a box and for a number one overall pick, he didn't go to a good situation? Or obviously, we know Luka's better, and that's going to be the main talk. Oh, the Suns should have took Luka and all that. But maybe the Pacers would have been a sleeper team when you think about it. If they freaking were able to get Ayton out of it. Because they have Tyrese Halliburton. They have Benedict Mathurin. They have Chris Duarte. They still have Turner. And then you get DeAndre Ayton. Then you have like McConnell coming off the bench. Like, that would be a nice ass young squad. That really would be a nice young squad for the Indiana Pacers. But I don't think there's any sleepers really. Like, going through this, the Heat aren't a sleeper. They're gonna be good again. Celtics good as shit. Bucks good. Sixers still gonna be good. Raptors still think they're gonna be competing. The Bulls, like the East is pretty stacked. Nets, I think they're gonna be on the decline. Like, they barely made it to the playoffs. I know Kyrie, the whole virus thing, but they barely made it to the playoffs in general. The Hawks, we'll see what happens with them with DeJounte Murray. The Cavs are up and coming Hornets. I don't think there's a sleeper personally. The Pistons, they might be more competitive, but I don't think they're going to win much. They'll be in more games, but the Wizards, I don't believe in. We want to be a sleeper if we got Mitchell. Like, all the eyes would be on us, obviously. But that's the main thing to talk about. Putting fit aside, basketball is not all about entertainment. Obviously, you need to be a good team. But could you just imagine, like, Donovan Mitchell in the open floor, windmill at Madison Square Garden? Can you just like imagine that? That'd be freaking amazing to watch. Yo, what's going on, Steven? How you doing, man? I hope all is well with you. Yeah, I think the Pistons are honestly going to be more competitive. I just don't know. They're still young. They got to learn how to win games. Killian Hayes is the odd man out. I actually think he's looked at as more of a bench piece. Duran's pretty raw, but I think he's capable of doing some things offensively. And Cunningham, obviously, you're looking for a huge jump there. Let's see. All right, this is an interesting question here. I see Grimes becoming an NBA All Star. Do you see RJ becoming an All Star? Well, I'm going to say this right now. I don't mean to put a lot of pressure on a player, but when you take someone third overall, see, it's awesome to have the label All Star make an All Star team, but the NBA is so stacked when it comes to talent. I'd be surprised if RJ makes an All Star team because guys like DeJounte Murray, why did he make the All Star team? Because someone got hurt, I believe. We know he has a lot of talent. A lot of guys that sometimes make the All Star team is due to injuries. Like, I don't care about him being labeled an All Star for a team. We'll know if he's playing like an All Star or not. But RJ's definitely going to have to take a huge jump because we go as far as RJ Barrett goes and his growth. You know, we spent the third overall pick on him. You can't miss out on a third overall pick. In my opinion, that sets back your ceiling as a franchise. But I'll just say, hopefully he's at least close to being an all-star. But Grimes with the New York Knicks, I don't think he'll be an all-star, especially if the Mitchell trade goes down. I don't see him ever getting an opportunity to be an all-star here. But I think Grimes could be a damn good, because he's going to be a damn good role player off the bench. He plays extremely hard. He's a good shooter, extremely great confidence, mentally tough. I like him defensively. There's a little more to his game than I don't think we saw in the regular season last year. I don't take a lot of stock into the summer league, but sometimes you could take a look at someone's skill set. So I like how he's attacking the basket more, but I think he'll. Well, I don't know if he's gonna be here though. If we trade for Mitchell, I think he might be gone. They want him. Grimes is like Burks. I think he plays totally different than Burks. He's way different. He doesn't need to perform off the dribble to be successful. Burks seemed like he always needed to put the ball on the floor. Obviously, wide open catch and shoot different, but he's someone that kind of ruined the offense sometimes with just over dribbling. But he also was played out of position at times. No, do you think we'll get this deal done this weekend? No, I don't. I don't. But that's just a guess. I don't think so. Let's see. New York Post reported Jazz wanted 6 first-round picks. Grimes. I think I put that on the screen. Are you talking about the offer I declined? Yup. We talked about that earlier. Like I said, the picks would be lower if we threw an RJ in there, but we're not trading RJ. That's what the Knicks said. But they want those cheaper types of contracts because they're going into rebuild mode. They're not trying to get win now mode players, but it's a lot of damn picks. Obviously, we can't trade picks in back-to-back years, but still have picks, just not as many. And the bench would be awful. I'll say that. But I don't know if the Knicks will take a risk on that. I'm kind of on the fence. Heat getting Spida in a 3-team deal. I heard the Jazz love Tyler Hero. I did hear that they like Tyler Hero, but I also saw a report that they weren't interested in RJ, and that report was fake, and it turns out they do like RJ. So I don't know. There's a bunch of different reports. And you could say you only do that for a superstar player. If the Knicks are confident they can really compete, they have to really believe in RJ to take a huge step forward. And they have to really believe in Randall. Not, I want to say get back to year 2 Randall with the Knicks, because that's going to be really hard to do. But if he gets back to just close to that form, Brunson ends up being an all-star. Like, I feel like you only sell away most of your roster and draft picks in future if you think you have the chance to compete. Because this won't be worth it if the farthest we go is the second round. So Donovan Mitchell was pretty much in the same situation because that's what happened in Utah. He never made it to the Western Conference Finals. But I'll just say at least we draft better. We draft better in the second round anyway. uh, let's see. Let's see. Let the young guys play. Hopefully that's what happens when Donovan Mitchell. If we don't get Donovan Mitchell, but Randall will still be here, so we'll see. That's what me and my dad always talked about, or what my dad always said to me. Like, the Knicks just need to build a damn consistent winner, build this thing organically, build throughout the draft. Eventually, you will have to get star level talent. If it's through the draft or if you trade for one, but a lot of teams do that when they think they're one piece away. Are the Knicks one piece away? No. I feel like we'll still need more. Even if we do get a Donovan Mitchell, we'll be better. But how much better? But I don't know when the Knicks will build this thing organically, but the Knicks see Donovan Mitchell's disgruntled, and they clearly think he's going to make the team a lot better if they're aggressively pursuing him. But we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Do you guys think it's worth it in the chat? What are your guys' thoughts on getting a Mitchell for like a pretty steep price? Like, they're not going to give him up for a bag of potato chips, so let me refresh the chat. My internet just got kicked off. I'm gonna have to go on my laptop, read the chat. But Pretty wild, yo. Knicks front office is nuts. Yeah, I feel like we say that all the time. Yes, get Donovan Mitchell, Leon Rose. Danny won't take anything less than 6 first. Yeah, we know he's going to try to get as much as possible. But I wonder what the meeting in the middle price is. Or is Danny Ainge the guy, though? He's just going to stick with as much as possible. I don't think it's going to change. That's the thing, Dwayne. Dwayne, you could look at it that way too. Like you need to take a risk. You do. But is this just like a stupid risk and it's gonna bite you in the ass in the future? Would only give RJ if we keep IQ and OB. I wouldn't give RJ at all. RJ should, if it comes down to RJ or no deal, no deal. Because if we give up RJ, really think about it. You think you're gonna win something? I'm not saying RJ's gonna be some superstar. He still needs to get a lot better. But freaking, so your team you think you could win something with is Randall, Bronson, and Mitchell? I don't think so. That's why you need RJ to take that huge leap and really make the ceiling higher on this team. Would you trade Deuce McBride or Quick and Obi? All of them, or which? I would trade McBride first. I'm not as high on McBride as others are. I like his defense. Besides that, I see him getting buckets in the summer league, but you have to look at the way he's getting buckets. He doesn't create enough separation to really have me believe in him that he can really get those shots off at the true level. But for Mitchell, yeah, you have to trade Quick and Obi, unfortunately. But I know they like Grimes more though. It's really hard to answer these questions, y'all. Yo, we have 87 likes. Can we get 100 likes? That'd be freaking awesome. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. You guys are absolutely amazing. Take the 3 players. I don't give a damn. This is business. I understand that side of it. 6 draft picks, Fournier and Obi. That should do it. So 6 draft picks, Fournier and Obi. I wonder what their thoughts would be on that. They would probably swap out Obi for Grimes. I think they're higher on Grimes than Obi. Spider needs to play with a player like Jimmy and Bam. That's obviously the best situation if you're trying to win. See, I really wonder if he wants to win because he's going to the Knicks instead of the Heat, or he just knows from a business perspective that the Knicks are more of a realistic option. But obviously, if you're trying to win a championship, you go to the Heat. I know Bam can't be traded because of his contract, the way it's set up, and all that. Donovan Mitchell needs to play with a player like Brunson, RJ, and Randall. I'm so excited. So, do you guys have any concerns? Because I know some people, they're just drinking the Kool-Aid. They look at the team on paper and they're like, I don't give a damn about the fit. But is the defense a concern to you? You think RJ can take that next step? Randall can get back to really trying defensively again with the high motor. Mitch becomes more disciplined. And you think it's going to disguise Brunson and Mitchell together defensively? Because those guys are going to have to step up because Mitchell's going to be putting a lot of energy towards the offense side of the basketball. He is. Which may have plays of him taking plays off defensively. You're going to have 2 6-1 guards, or do you just worry about the fit in the future? You just worry about the fit after you make the deal. Yeah, he's from New York. He's a Mets fan. Yup. That's the cool side of it. Brunson was a Knicks fan as well, so that's a pretty actually that like if you want to like go back to the Kool-Aid, that's a cool thing to think about though that Brunson one ugly thing though he's an Eagles fan. I hate that shit. Oh God, stupid my mouth a little. Brunson's an Eagles fan, which I freaking hate. But Brunson grew up a Knicks fan when he was a kid. This picture of him, like if you go on his Twitter profile, wearing a Knicks shirt. Donovan Mitchell, I think he was a Knicks fan growing up at least. Or is he just a Mets fan? But RJ was a Knicks fan. Like, that'd be pretty cool to have 3 players out of the 5 Knicks fans in the lineup. Well, we have Randall's a Cowboys fan too. So we have Randall who's a Cowboys fan, then you have Brunson that's an Eagles fan. I hate that. Uh, yeah, Randall gets a lot of criticism. I've criticized Randall, but I've always said he hasn't played with a good point guard with good awareness, and it could be different. Yup, RJ was. Let's see if I can pull up the picture of RJ as a Knicks fan when he was a kid. RJ picture. Let's see if I can pull this up. Oh, here it is. Turn down the brightness. Oh wait, let me. That's RJ as a kid, as a Knicks fan. That's RJ as a kid, as a Knicks fan. And then Jalen Brunson. Pull that up. Did he block me? It's not popping up. He blocked mine on Twitter. No, I'm joking. That's Jalen Brunson as a kid wearing a Knicks shirt. Yeah, he's not. He's definitely not Mitchell or Giannis, or he's not Giannis or KD, but he's a good player. Miami needs a third team to get involved. That's where trades go to die. Try. Yeah, that's very, very tough. It's very tough. Yeah, Randall's from Dallas. Like I don't have a problem with him being from Dallas. Being a Cowboys fan though, I'm a Giants fan, sadly. So no, I'm proud to be a Giants fan. They just suck. But I just hate the Eagles. I hate the Cowboys and the division. Let's see. 5 draft picks. Wait, CWC. What's going on, Warren? How you doing? I think if Tibbs, X the Beast, that's a cool profile picture. I think if Tibbs can get the Knicks to play great team defense, that is the thing though. Tibbs will make sure Mitchell probably plays defense and tries hard. Because when he tries hard, he's a pretty solid defender. But yeah, Tibbs hopefully schemes certain things up and makes us look better than we think we're going to be defensively. I think if Tibbs can get the Knicks to play great team defense, that can make up for their lack of one-on-one defense. This is true. Let's see what else we're saying here. Let me check Twitter. Let's see if there's any updates on the Twitter. I don't care what Taco Fall did off the bench. I don't. Check Ian Begley. So, do you guys think Randall's going to have a bounce back year? Not saying year 2 Randall with the Knicks, but these guys think he'll play better. He can't be worse. He can't. Especially efficiency. Like, he averaged 20. It was just bad efficiency, bad IQ, the way he was playing. Michael says, can't take this. Yup, Brunson's dad, Rick Brunson, played for the Knicks. That's an interesting name to look out for. Colin Sexton. I'm very interested to see what's going to happen with Colin Sexton. After all this, I think he's just going to end up going back to the Cavs off the bench. I think he's both then. Let's see. I think we have the smartest fans and the most delusional fans. We have smart fans, don't get me wrong, but there's some, I don't know if you guys have heard about Twitter. Yeah. People are freaking crazy. Some Knicks fans. I love our fans, though. We're just crazy. Yo, we have 94 likes. We're so close to 100 likes. I really appreciate you guys. Randall needs to go down to the G League. Sexton to Miami? I think I've heard about that. I believe. Seen some rumors of that. Well, yeah, that's the thing. If you're giving up a lot of your future, you hope you can compete for the big thing one day. You really do. You took RJ 3rd overall. You hope he takes a huge jump. Randall, if he sacrifices his number 1 option role, which he's gonna have to with Mitchell here, if we get Mitchell, like what's Randall's style of play gonna be? Are they gonna put him on the block more, or Randall's gonna go back to that second year with the Knicks? Like, nope, I was hitting fadeaway jumpers. Why are you putting me in this position right now? But The thing is, we'll have a lot of time with Mitchell to figure it out, which is a good thing because he's under contract for like 3 more years. So, if we do get him, that's facts, Devontae. Sucks they weren't good at the same time this year. And the year the Knicks made the playoffs, like the Knicks made it that one year, Bulls didn't, and then the Bulls make it, the Knicks don't. He should have a better season as long as he comes into camp mentally sound and buys into being a model teammate. I'm right there with you. I know a lot of Knicks fans are excited about how he's in great shape. That's awesome. But if we're being real, shouldn't every NBA player come into camp in the best shape as possible? I don't have doubts about the shape he's in. I have doubts about him being a good teammate, making the right basketball play. Him being in better shape doesn't improve his basketball IQ. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but it's just true. Doesn't change his play style, doesn't change his IQ. Let's see. Fournier, Reddish, Grimes, IQ, or Obi. Both. Oh, IQ or Obi. Not both. 4 to 6 picks. Say it ain't worth. We still have Obi or Quick and McBride on bench, and we're still young. Yeah, and we have to realize Tom Thibodeau does have shortened rotations. That is true. I think that's a pretty realistic one. All right, so Cam. All right, this is my stance on Cam. All right, goes to Duke. Obviously, one of the top players out of high school. I had to take a seat back, take a step back, because you have freaking. That was a loaded Duke team. You had Trey Jones, you had RJ, you had Zion. Like, you have a lot of talent over there. You obviously have Cam. Cam played bad at Duke. He showed flashes. He had some good games, but he was extremely inefficient. He was in a different role. And he goes on to be drafted, what was it, 10th overall, goes to the Atlanta Hawks. And you have Bogdanovich there. You have Herder there. There's kind of, it's not the best of fit. You have DeAndre Hunter. But this is the thing with him. If Reddish is so good, or he's supposed to be this good, why was it such a struggle for him to get valuable minutes? Nate McMillan didn't believe in him a lot. Clearly, if he wasn't able to get valuable minutes, I know he eventually had that one playoff game that a lot of people look at where they got blown out. And yeah, sure, he played good in that game. But the problem with Cam, inconsistent motor, doesn't stay healthy. Even if we do keep him, he probably won't be here. Or there's a high chance we wouldn't re-sign him. If he hasn't proven to stay healthy in his career, you're not going to get an opportunity. You're not going to have a role in the NBA if you can't stay healthy. I do like certain things that he can bring to the table when it comes to the New York Knicks. Shot creation, we need that, especially off the bench. He's athletic, we need that. Not a great mid-range shooter, solid three-point shooter. And when locked in, he's a good defensive player. That's the thing, when locked in. There's games that I'm like, damn, this dude's thriving. And then there's games like, is he even on the court? But he needs to stay healthy in order to get a role in the NBA. But yeah, he's been in some sticky situations, but he needs to beat out the players, you know? He needs to be more of a grinder. But I think he has upside, I do. Uh, Yo, what's going on, Luca? How you doing, man? I hope you're doing well. He says, how I see the Donovan Mitchell stuff. I originally saw it as a move for when we are one player away. I agree with you, but it does make us consistent playoff contenders, but you're banking on another star coming soon. Because, yeah, I agree with you. I think a star only comes because this is the positive thing, though. Let's say Randall does play pretty well. It gets his trade value up. RJ improves. Maybe he doesn't improve into what we think he's going to be. Because when we have Mitchell here, we're probably going to try to do our best to make any moves to make us a true contender and make this team better. You know? It's like, all right, RJ's improving, but he's not looking like an all-star, so we got to trade him. Like, we'll be able to get value out of that and possibly get another star. So, I'm right there with you. This team looks okay on paper if we do trade for Mitchell, where it looks like a talented team on paper. The defense concerns me. 2 6'1" guards will be a lot better. We'll consistently be in the playoffs every year. But it's like, do you give up that many picks? Do you give up young pieces to just improve one round? Because you should have the confidence that you're like, if we get Mitchell, we'll be able to put the pieces around him to compete for the big thing. You don't give up your whole future just to improve one round. That's just me. But we'll see what happens with Mitchell. He's a star, not a superstar, but a good player. Yeah, that's the thing. I don't really because Knicks being an attractive destination. Yup, usually it's not in the same conversation. Um, but when I'm thinking back to that Knicks team, I know we let some people go that we shouldn't have let go. I know some people were mad when we let Chauncey Billups walk at the time when he was pretty decent for us. Like that Knicks team had talent, but I never saw any upside with that Knicks team with Melo in 2013 when we won like 54 games, lost in the second round to the Indiana Pacers, which a lot of people thought we should have won that series, going up against like Danny Granger, Tyler Hansbrough. It's just like I thought the team was gonna be good for like a couple years. Turns out it was only good that like one good year, but there was just no longevity to that team at all. But yeah, I'm right there with you. I don't know what really makes the Knicks attractive. I guess consistently winning, and then agents call up their players because I don't work behind the scenes when it comes to this thing. Like, I think what makes an attractive destination is developing your players, and it's just like, I want to play there. They pay their players, they develop their players, they show a lot of love to their players because, I don't know. The Nets obviously aren't attractive now. I don't think stars just really promise you being like an attractive destination. I don't know what's truly the definition of an attractive destination. Uh, yes, Randall will have a quiet season, and Brunson is the one all eyes will be on. Our fans are delusional as hell. Well, the Jazz, they also had Royce O'Neal, and they also had Rudy Gobert. So, and obviously Mike Conley's better defensive player than Jalen Brunson. We know Quinn Snyder's a defensive-minded coach. The thing with the New York Knicks, like the defense may work. Like I don't have a problem with the offense. I think the defense will work. But Mitch, I don't think he's Rudy Gobert defensively. I think he'll have to become more disciplined. But if Mitch does, I think he's a good enough defense player. I think he's a solid defense player. But it's going to be concerned the defense if Randall's effort is still not there. Like if Randall's effort is there and RJ Barrett becomes even better as a defensive player, then maybe it's going to disguise some things. And yeah, the Jazz were a good team, but we saw playoff time. The defense was freaking horrible in the first round against the Dallas Mavericks. Mitchell's getting blown by, and Mike Conley's getting blown by. You can't always rely on Rudy Gobert. The perimeter defense was absolutely trash. As good as it was in the regular season, we saw playoff time. Obviously, not good enough ever to make it to the Western Conference Finals. But yeah, there's gonna be a huge load on RJ, Randall, and Mitch. Like they're all gonna have to be not like you could say not just solid. They're gonna have to be good players because Mitchell's going to be putting a lot of effort towards offense. He's not always going to be locked in defensively, but we have Tom Thibodeau here, so you never know. We know he's defensive minded as well. So let's see. Lucas says, "How will we hide Brunson and Donovan Mitchell on defense?" I'm gonna be right. I'm gonna real with you. I'm not a coach, so I don't know how the Knicks will will hide them or just disguise them on defense to help things out. But I don't know. Hopefully Tom Thibodeau figures it out. That's putting a lot of pressure on RJ. Randall better step the F up on D. I'm not banking on it. Yeah, it's a high risk. It really is. Again, this team will look good on paper because you have a star player, Brunson, who just got a huge contract coming off of what he did in the playoffs. Randall, we'll have to wait and see with that. It's wait and see with RJ too. This team goes as far as RJ develops. Um, let's see. And I forgot, yeah, Conley was injured. Well, I believe he was injured the first couple games when it came to that Mavericks series. I know he wasn't fully healthy that whole series, I believe, or he didn't really stay consistently healthy in Utah, I believe, as well. The Raptors, Spurs, and Heat are picky too. Our problem is we have ugly chick syndrome and we'll settle for anybody. I don't think we'll settle for anybody. I don't. I think the New York Knicks in the past would have done that. We had Gobert and Favors in Utah, and we maxed out as second round exits. You need to play small ball with Donovan. Well, shout out, we got a Jazz fan in here. I really appreciate you. So, what do you think was the biggest problem with that Utah Jazz team? Do you think do you think there was a mix of problems? Was it size? Was it Donovan Mitchell? Yes, he's a bucket getter, best player on our team, but he has to trust his teammates more. Was it not having enough star power? What do you think it was when it came to those Jazz teams? Because I want to know your true thoughts. I know Mitchell's a good player, but I want to know your true thoughts. And thank you guys for 100 likes. I really appreciate it. Let Mitchell Robinson shoot. I don't know if he'll ever shoot. He's talking about working on that shot and never shot it. Yeah, that's what I thought. Conley's been hurt a lot when he was in Utah. Let me look at the Jazz depth chart right now. I know you guys have Whiteside as a backup. Let's see. Yeah, you guys got Beverly now. Yeah, so their projected lineup right now would be Mike Conley, Donovan Mitchell, Bogdanovich, Vanderbilt, and Hassan Whiteside. Let's see. Yes, Donovan does want to come to the Knicks. That's what I saw from Woj on TV was talking about. Let's become a playoff team first before make the finals or completely skip the playoffs. Well, we made the playoffs last year. Not a consistent. We haven't been a consistent playoff team, but we made it last year. One sec. Let me fix this. Alright, I had to fix the green screen. But I know what you mean. You want to consistently make it there first before we make a move like that, maybe. I'm not sure. Diehard Knicks fan in the building. What's going on, Payback? How you doing, man? I appreciate you. Been live for over an hour, so I appreciate all you guys tuning in. Alright. Dwayne says this deal must happen at this point. 5 to 6 picks. Grimes or Quickly, McBride, Fournier, and Rose. Keeper 2023 first, and trust the free agency or the front office and Leon Rose to make another move. Yeah, that's the thing. We got to trust this front office if we go on to make a move like that. Because I feel like this was a plan all along when you really think about it. World Wide West, he's known Jalen Brunson since he was a baby. Leon Rose has known him since he was a baby. Obviously, we hired his father, Rick Brunson. And if you didn't know, Leon Rose's son, like, he's the agent of Jalen Brunson, and he was his first ever agent as well. And Donovan Mitchell's from New York. I feel like we've heard these rumors for a good time. I feel like this was really the plan to get Brunson and Donovan Mitchell. I feel like this really was the plan since like last year. Who would you rather trade, Quickly or Obi? Quickly, because I think Quickly's kind of an odd man out here, in my opinion. When it would come to this team, he would help the bench a lot, though. I'm not gonna lie. But I don't know. That's a tough question because they're totally different players. Well, I want to ask the Jazz fans out there: would you rather have Quickly or Obi? Grimes is close to a breakout season, and RJ will take a step forward. If Julius just rebounds and accepts his role as a third option, We don't need Mitchell. So, what's your definition of Grimes' breakout season? Yeah, Quickly and Donovan are friends. But at the end of the day, this is business. I don't really think they care about that. I really don't think they care about that. Like, if they have a chance to get Donovan Mitchell and they're like, all right, Quickly's the last piece, they're probably going to be like, yep. I don't watch ESPN, BSPN, bullshit PN. Yeah, he's going to have to add more. I agree with you after getting that contract. He's going to have to show some improvement or just don't be afraid when you're out there on the floor. It is different in Summer League because the games don't actually count, that you could try new things out there. But Sims has at least shown that he's not afraid of doing. So it's Sims' second Summer League, right? Attempting a mid range fadeaway, attempting hook shots, putting the ball on the floor. Mitchell's second Summer League, he didn't do that shit at all. Mitchell Robinson's second Summer League when he was out there. So I don't know if they just want him as this type of big, they don't trust him, or he don't trust himself. But he's gonna have to at least add a hook shot. Yeah, he might have hurt himself there, a sports fan. Let's see. But this is the thing. So if we trade for a Mitchell, and like Luca's saying, and like other Knicks fans are saying, and we're trying to attract another star here, who would that other star be? Who's that other star? Is it a young star? Or is it like a Kawhi, Kevin Durant? I'm just throwing out names like those older types of stars. Like who would be out there to attract? Like just the next disgruntled star? Because you don't like. There's always gonna be opportunities like this, but you don't know when that next opportunity is gonna come. So it is kind of a risk as well. So, uh, well, I'm not saying Sims is ready. I just like that he's not afraid to try new things out there on the floor. The same Knicks fans that's saying trade the picks probably was the same ones flipping out at old regimes for trading all their picks. Uh, that's a good question. Lucas says, "Do you believe that you have to have a rim protecting center to be successful in the NBA?" I don't think so. I think it depends on the way your team is constructed. Kevin Looney has showed great versatility in the NBA Finals of being able. I feel like you have to be able to do a little more than just rim protect. You got to be able to hold your own sometimes outside on the perimeter. I'm not saying be elite defending the perimeter, but you need to have switchable Swiss Army knife types of defenders. A guy like Draymond Green, like Kevin Looney, he's not an elite rim protector. He's a pretty good rim protector, but you also have Curry, you also have Klay Thompson. So it depends if you have one of the best players in the world, if you have the shooters around you to really kind of sometimes overtake that defense because sometimes when your offense is so good, like yes, you still need defense to win NBA championships, but it sometimes works out. But we saw with the Celtics. I know sometimes because Robert Williams was hurt, sometimes they ran Horford at the five, but then we saw how valuable a guy like Robert Williams could be as a rim protecting five. They didn't win a championship though. Thinking back to the Cleveland Cavaliers when they won, they didn't Anderson Varejao. You don't need like a star center, but you're gonna need like a superstar level player, or you're going to need a very good floor general. I just think you'll need versatile defense players. I don't think you need like an elite rim protecting big though. I personally don't think so, but you're going to need like very good shooters, guys that can create offense. But it's still valuable to have. It is. It is. Like Brook Lopez, he's a good defender. When the Bucks won, uh, yeah, it really comes down to the way your team is constructed. What's going on, Andrew? How you doing, man? If Grimes gives us 15 to 17 points per game, as we don't need Mitch, RJ and Randall just need to be more efficient in their scoring. our defense would be much better. If Grimes averaged 15 to 17 points per game, he'd probably be the most improved player in the league because he averaged 6 points per game last year. But yeah, I hope that freaking happens. Again, I wouldn't be mad if we don't get Mitchell. I really wouldn't be because I'm all about the youth movement. But we'll see if that actually happens with Tibbs. Could, like again, he plays the young guys. Eventually does, but put them in the position to be successful. Don't have them in this box. And I feel like Obi's been in a box. Grimes has been in a box. Yo, what's going on, TMGF? He says Jazz are crazy for what they're asking for. They ask for a lot. Trying to get as much back as possible. Danny Ainge does this. But yeah, let's look at the past teams won NBA championships in. You said like elite rim protecting bigs or just let's see what he said. Okay. Alright, list of NBA champions. Not 1947, Chicago Stacks. The Lakers didn't. Anthony Davis is a 4. Again, he's a versatile defender. Spurs. Tiago Splitter was alright. But let me look back at that. Because obviously they had Tim Duncan, Tony Parker still. Those Spurs teams are impressive. 2014 Spurs roster. Alright. There to Aaron Baines. Tiago Splitter. Yeah, again, if your team is constructed the right way, you share the ball, you have a well-run offense, I don't really think you need a rim protecting big to win a championship. What about Klay Thompson's the stud you're talking about? I know you are now. I know you're all about the Victor Wembanyama sweepstakes and the Scoot Henderson sweepstakes from G League Ignite. I think Knicks qualify for the playoffs. I guess the game's happening now. Need to be done. Joe Curry says if this does happen, I can't see a year with fewer than 50 over the next 4 years. And I like we're playing hardball for once. They want picks, trade them, picks, but keep our players. Yeah, I agree. I'm glad he didn't just say yes to that one trade offer that we talked about. Did we get into this? Yeah, we talked about that. The the trade that they declined, 6 future first round picks plus Quinn Grimes quickly, Obi Toppin and McBride. Um, let's see what else. You could say that, especially in today's NBA, the way the game is now of just being 3 and D and needing like versatile defensive players with switchability to guard multiple positions. Yeah, I think so. The Warriors are definitely up there. The Knicks need a better wing, aka Tatum or Levine. Mitchell isn't the one, but I get these types of stars don't come up often. I'm right there with you. It's just like when's there going to be this next opportunity that a star does come up and at least the right star for your team. So the Knicks probably jumped on it, and I agree with you. RJ's gonna have to take a huge leap. I don't think he has a ceiling of a Tatum. I don't think he has a ceiling of like a Jalen Brown or one of the best players in the league. I think he could be a damn good player, but I don't see super or not superstar. I don't even think Tatum's superstar. I freaking don't label people like superstars a lot. Like it's just not a word that should be thrown around like crazy. In my opinion, I think he's like over an all-star. I think he's a damn good basketball player. But yeah, RJ's gonna have to take a huge step forward, especially when it comes to shot creation and a lot. Grimes and McBride put on a clinic last night. Yeah, I rewatched the highlights. I was with family last night. I didn't watch that game all the way. Yeah, the Thompson twins. That's crazy that there's twins that are both beast. Let's see. I think Knicks qualify. Yeah, I read that. Read that. What's going on, TMGF? Hope all's well. I'll trade RJ and Randall for Donovan Mitchell. You trade RJ and Randall for Donovan Mitchell? Interesting. So you're not high on RJ. I understand people that aren't that high on RJ. Like, I understand both sides of it because he has a lot to work on. But this is the thing. If we get Mitchell, like, we may not even get out of the first round with Mitchell, Randall, and Brunson. That team may not get out of the first round, to be honest with y'all. So you gave up your future to really not improve where we were a couple years ago, you know? I started going live at 6, almost 8 already. Yeah, I don't think Utah Jazz fans want Randall. Lucas says, are there any 3-and-D power forwards available? I trade for Mitchell and send off Randall to Charlotte. Oh, and get back like Gordon Hayward potentially or something because we would have to take on that contract. And Bridges is gone. Then I'd have that power forward be in the starting lineup. RJ isn't like the guy who's going to guard the best player. For this team, with Brunson's not guarding the best player, Mitchell's not guarding the best player, I think it's possible RJ ends up guarding the best players again. I think that could happen. I think it is possible, but yeah, there's not really any free agents out there if you're talking about that. Or you said to trade for? Let me look at free agency right now because I don't think there's anyone. Let's see. Power forwards. All right, so yeah, there's not really anyone out there that can come in and start unless you want like Carmelo back as a starter. I personally wouldn't have him back as a starter. I'd rather have him back on the bench. There's Markieff Morris out there, Eric Pascal, Montrezl Harrell's in prison sadly, so that can't happen. Juancho Hernan-Gomez, LaMarcus Aldridge, Paul Millsap, Blake Griffin, Bruno Fernando. Yeah, there's no one really out. Bielitsa, maybe. I'm surprised. Bielitsa was pretty solid for the Warriors. I actually wouldn't mind that as a depth piece. I like Bielitsa's game. Yo, what's going on, MH? How you doing, man? Yeah, the Jazz, they want they want your boy though. They want Grimes. Quick and Obi ain't world beater defenders. Yeah, I don't know if Bridges will ever play in the NBA again. I honestly don't, because the Hornets, they're done with him. They're not bringing him back. I think they even announced that or something. I don't think he deserves to play another NBA game. Oh, Bielitsa went to Europe? Damn. I didn't even know that. Bielitsa went to Europe. What club he playing for? Bielitsa. I guess it hasn't updated. It doesn't say yet. Yeah, MA loves his Grimes, bro. Grimes is a favorite player of all time. Loves him more than RJ. Loves him more than Patrick Ewing. Loves him more than Walt Frazier. Let's see. Knicks been making foolish signings and trades since Bernard King. Bernard King was nice though, bro. One of the best scorers ever. Wish he stayed healthy more though. I didn't see him, but obviously had knee injuries. Well, his hand isn't up, so he'll leave me hanging. See, look, high five. No, okay. Like he's gonna leave me hanging. MH. I need a new chair. This chair got my ass hurting. Trade for Eric Gordon for Randall can help the youth in Houston. Hmm. I personally don't think they would do that. Randall would want to start. I don't think Randall's the type of guy that would help the youth. I don't think he'd be down for that. And it's the Rockets. They're trying to rebuild right now. They don't want to take on his contract probably. I'm heading out soon. I've been live for nearly 2 hours. So maybe some other time, man. I really do wish they could find a way to keep Grimes because he'd be perfect. I think there is a scenario that they do keep Grimes, but the Jazz, that's one of their top priorities to get him because it's only going to be his second year in the league. They're not going to have to pay him for a couple of years. They're going to probably try to tank for a young up and coming player. Pause on what? What I say? What I say? Well, man, I'm really scared what I said now. Oh, yeah. If that shit's true, yeah, that's Miles Bridges, disgusting human being. Let's see. If you didn't know, that was Carmelo Anthony's one of his favorite players, Bernard King. Andrew says, imagine if we trade for Mitchell and somehow still keep most of our young core together. I don't see that happening, but obviously that's a dream scenario. We would have to, if we want to keep our young core together, we're giving up 8 freaking first round picks. You know how we have 8 tradable first round picks? Yeah, we'll be trading those away. And we'll have to nail drafts in the second round. But again, you can't trade consecutive years, so up and coming play. That's not that bad. Come on, y'all. Y'all acted childish. Because I said up and coming play. You're wild. You guys are wild. So, alright, I want to know what would your guys' expectations be? We trade for Mitchell. Let's say we give up 5 first. We give up Quickly. We give up Reddish. And we give up Grimes and Fournier. So then our starting lineup would be Brunson. Our starting lineup would be Donovan Mitchell, RJ Barrett, Julius Randle, Mitch Robinson. How far does that team go? Do you think? The Knicks can find players to replace the players they trade for Donovan Mitchell. You could definitely do that through free agency with more developed or older players with more experience or through the draft. Oh shit, this chair does got my ass hurting. No pause on that. This chair freaking sucks. I've had this chair for a while. How far does that team go? It's just a scenario. I'm not saying I would do that. It's a scenario. How far though? Not far. That's not an answer, MH. It's not an answer. We know Mitchell's under contract until 2025. So, what's the ceiling of that team throughout those years? We'll have Mitchell. Let's say we have him for like 3 years. And there's the scenario if RJ improves but doesn't take a huge leap. There's a scenario that we're trying to win a big thing with Mitchell and Brunson that we may possibly try to trade RJ for a star, and Randall's trade value may go up if he plays well. Like, I wouldn't be surprised at that scenario. If RJ disappoints this upcoming year, he improves, but he doesn't improve like we would like him to. And then the Knicks try to trade him for a star. I hope the best case scenario, though, RJ takes a huge leap, because that will give us a long, consistent winner because he's only, what is he, 22? Yo, that's the first trade proposal that I've seen with Rokas Jokubaitis in it. We would be giving him the rights to Jokubaitis. But Grimes, Rose. Alright, so they want Grimes. I could see Rose. Not a bad contract. Cam, not a bad contract. Because he's going to be a free agent. Grimes, Jokubaitis, 5 picks for Donovan Mitchell. And Jordan Clarkson. I don't think we'd be able to get Clarkson back. I know they said everyone's on the table, but I don't think that's enough for both, personally. And we would have to throw like Fournier in there. Those salaries wouldn't match. Free Randall first, please. I think Randall's staying. I'm sorry to tell you guys. I think Randall's staying. I definitely think he's staying, at least this upcoming season. Let's see what else we got here. I'll read a couple comments and then I'll head out. I would say probably like 8 seed. Wow. I would not do this trade at all. If we trade for Donovan Mitchell, we give up 5 first-round picks. We give up Grimes. We give up Obi, freaking Rose, Fournier. We do all that shit to be the 8th seed slash play-in. Holy shit, I don't even know what I would do. If the New York Knicks gave up their entire future for Donovan Mitchell and we just make it to the 8th seed, he said I would say probably the 8th seed slash play-in would be the ceiling, to be honest, in that hypothetical scenario. Because the depth would need to be rebuilt, giving up Grant. Yeah, I'm not going to lie. The depth would be trash. We know Tibbs loves those short rotations, though. No, keep Randall and Obi. They need to work together to make this team better. I would like the Knicks to keep Derrick Rose if they trade for Donovan Mitchell. I agree. Stay pat. If he wants to come here, we'll get him. I think Clarkson will be a part of a separate deal. Fournier can get traded. Jazz management let him go. He wants to get out. They want to get as much back as possible, though. They really do. They're taking the smart approach. They're not rushing the deal. Unless we trade Randall after this trade, I don't know how it makes sense. 4 to 7 seed at most. I'll say 5 or 6 seed if we trade for Mitchell. I don't care. Anyone says Obi, RJ, Mitchell, and Emmanuel quickly must start. So you would start quickly at the 2 then. The Knicks would probably be the 6. Yeah, I'm right there with you, a sports fan. Donovan Mitchell would bring Joker in 2023 free agency. I don't know. I think he's loyal to Denver. But you never know. In the NBA, it's crazy. Knicks with Mitchell would be way better than 8th. But the East is so top-heavy, they probably won't beat Milwaukee, Brooklyn. Oh, I agree. They won't beat them. I'm right there with you. No, Clarkson is good for this deal, and he could trade Conley and Bogdanovich for some picks. Maybe I'm selling short. But, like, the East is all... Yeah, the East is also really good. But, you guys, I'm going to head out. We finished the stream with 142 people watching. 126 likes. I think that's the most likes I've ever gone on a live stream or one of these live streams. It was nice talking to you guys and then having like a Q&A afterwards. You guys are amazing. I really appreciate your support. If you enjoy Knicks content, be free to smash the like button. And I do have an NBA channel that'll drop in the chat. I might change the name of it because I'm not liking it. So this is where I'm going to upload my broad NBA content because I gave up uploading broad NBA content on this channel. It's just like no one watches it. Views are terrible. So it's just like, what's the point? Really, of making videos on this channel or broad NBA videos on this channel? So my last upload was a month ago. But if you're ever wondering, like, why am I subscribed to this channel name? I don't remember subscribing to them. It's because I changed the name. But I'm probably going to have a video up on Jabari Smith. If you're interested in broad NBA besides the Knicks, you can subscribe to that channel. Then I'd hope we win an NBA championship, Joe. Thank you, TMGF. I really appreciate that. You have a great one, too. So, yeah, smash the like button. Click that subscribe button. I really appreciate you guys. Stay safe. This channel wouldn't be possible without you guys. Peace out, y'all. I really appreciate it. Road to 4K subscribers.